I look ridiculous in this thing. If I had any dignity, I would certainly not walk through the streets of Atlanta in something like this. I don't have any dignity though, so I'm going to. While doing research for the Viking costumes for the Pulse Raid and the DragonCon Parade, one of the things that I saw several references to was the fact that they suspect that helmets were probably a lot more common than what we see in the shows. I mean, it kind of makes sense. The actors and actresses don't want to wear them. Well, they're not even wearing real boots in most of those instances. And it makes it harder to recognize your favorite characters. So they don't show helmets a whole lot, but it's suspected that they were a more common part of most fighters' attire than we see on screen. Just for references, I marked the center bands down the middle so that I had a good idea of how much I needed to cut each one of the little inserts in the dome. And it was after I got finished marking them all that I realized I hadn't pulled the protective plastic off of the aluminum. So I did that, and then I remarked everything. Once I had them all marked, I used a piece of cardboard that conformed to the shape easily to just connect the lines and make nice straight center lines. Cut the first piece to size, clamped it in place, drilled the holes, took it apart, cleaned everything off real good, removed the flashing from where I drilled the hole, then clamped it back in place and started the riveting process. If I could only find the rivet. Where did I... The rivet is here somewhere. I'll just go get another one. Oh, there it is. I backed it up with a dolly and held my breath because I had never actually used these rivets before. No idea how this is going to turn out. When I had finished the first one and it wasn't a disaster, I went ahead and marked the band where I was going to drill for each one of the rivets. From there, it was pretty much just working one piece at a time. I would drill a hole, set the rivet, drill another hole on the other side, set the rivet, drill a hole on the other side, set the rivet, and I just kept alternating sides just to make sure that I walked the dome pieces, inserts, thingies down the helmet evenly, hoping to avoid any sort of, oops, this side fits and the other side doesn't. Then when I had both of the top bands done, I marked and drilled the holes for the bottom of the band, cleaned up the inside where the flashing for the rivets was, and set all of the rivets along the bottom. I now had one piece completely done. On to the next step. I'm just using the smaller model Harbor Freight air chisel, air hammer thingy, with a special set of bits for driving these style of rivets that I got on Amazon. They're different sizes for different size hedge rivet. What I did discover is that too much air pressure is bad. Measured, marked, and cut the second insert piece and got started in the same pattern. I drilled the dome first and then moved alternating sides until I got to the bottom and then did the bottom band. If you watched the first video, you know I held this thing together with pop rivets the first time. As I was going along and I'd get to an area where a pop rivet was in the way, I would just drill it out and replace it with the same size. I used the same size rivets, 1/8 inch. That way I didn't have to worry about drill holes being too big or too small. I measured and marked both sides of the second band so that I can drill for those rivets. And when I got to the third and fourth insert, I went ahead and measured and marked and cut both pieces, and then drilled pilot holes for references. What I was afraid was going to happen was I was going to need to clamp this thing together, and with 3 pieces in, my clamps weren't going to fit. So I kind of had the last 2 pieces ready to go, clamped them in place to make sure that they were going to fit, and then mounted them after I drilled the holes. Test fit and 2 pilot holes on piece number 3. Remove the clamps and put piece number 4 in. measured, marked, and cut piece number 4. And then drilled the hole for piece number 4. Now I had both pieces ready to put in. Used a dolly to hammer down some of the edges and put one more set of rivets in just to keep everything lined up and making sure that nothing was going to flex or twist while I was working on this. Then I went ahead and drilled and set all of the rivets in piece number 2 along the bottom. And then just followed the process for piece number 3 and piece number 4. Now, because the helmet's actually a little on the small size, I wasn't able to make the flat section so that the inserts would line up neatly with the bands. So what I did was I took a dolly and a body hammer and pounded down the edges of the bands just a little bit so that they would sit flush with the dome of the helmet. Wiped everything down with some more acetone to get it all cleaned off and made sure that all the plastic was gone and test fit the insert that I was going to use to sit on my head. And then I sat it on my head. So that was part 2 of the helmet build for the Viking costume. Part 3 will be I add the eye guard and side pieces and potentially a piece to the back for the neck. I haven't decided for sure yet. Probably going to add a little bit more weight to it, but it may help keep some of the sun and stuff like that off my neck during the parade, so that may not be bad. This has been a lot of fun. This is a neat project. I get to play out with some more metal techniques. It's always nice banging on things. Hoping to get this one finished and get my wife's started as soon as I get back from the Hot Rod Tower tour. I will see you next time. Have a great week.